Nagbabalik po muli ang inyong lingkod at nagbabalita ng mga balitang dapat nating malaman dito sa ating bansa. Ito ang Balitang Pambansa. Atin ngang matutunghayan sa channel na ito kung ano ang nangyayari sa loob ng ating gobyerno at syempre tumutulong na rin sa ating mga mamamayan na malaman ang katotohanan dahil mayroon tayong karapatan na malaman ang tunay na nangyayari sa ating bansa. Ngunit bago natin panoorin ang balita, huwag niyo pong kakalimutan na mag-subscribe sa ating channel at pindutin ang notification bell para lagi kang maging updated sa ating mga bagong videos na ina-upload araw-araw. At sa ating mga solid viewers naman dyan ay maraming salamat naman po sa walang sawang pagsuporta. At syempre, huwag din pong kakalimutan mag-iwan ng like at i-share ang ating mga videos. At kung mayroon ka naman pang opinion, ang ating comment section ay bukas para sa inyong mga hinaing. Ito na nga mga kaibigan, ating panoorin ang buong video. Salamat po muli and God bless!
Kayo makapili, kagaya ng sinabi ko nung una, napakaganda ho ng tela na ginamit dito sa dito sa damit na to nitong si Congressman Rodante Marcoleta. Siguro, yung mga ganito pa natin, siguro mga nasa pa yun. Mga nasa, kung di tayo nagkakamali, nasa 100 pa. 100 pang ganito. Kaya marami ho tayong mabibigyan ng damit nitong si Congressman Rodante Marcoleta. Ito yung first batch na meron na nagme-may-ari. Ito naman ho yung second batch. Na ito naman ho ang pamimigay natin ngayon. Free delivery ho ha. Wala ho kayong babayaran. Free delivery. Ang kailangan nyo lang gawin, i-type ang Duterte. Support Duterte. Bring home PRRD. Bahala na ho kayo. Ayun na nga, rekta na ho tayo dito sa mga hanas nitong si Senator Amy Marcos. Pakinggan ho natin to mga kababayan. Gang!
Ma'am, kanina sa speech ninyo you mentioned na nakatanggap kayo ng balita na hindi na pupunta yung mga cabinet officials sa hearing nyo on Thursday. Was it an official communication from the ES?
Yes, I received a letter last night from ES Bersamin saying that the executive would not be attending the hearing on April 3. Nakakalungkot naman kasi alam niyo maraming tanong pa rin, bitin pa rin kasi preliminary report lang naman ang kinaya ko. Marami pa rin katanungan.
Wala namang pakialam ang kapatid mo kahit hindi masagot yung mga katanungan na yan. Balita ho natin, pagkadala daw sa dahig na itong si dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte, di umano, walang humpay yung celebration dyan sa Malacanang. Anak ng tokwa. At yung issue nitong si Lisa Kokak, huwag niyo kong sakyan yan. Tayo yung presensya nitong bakulaw na to, ramdam ho natin. Nasa Pilipinas yung bakulaw na yan. Huwag ho kayong magpadala, kumbaga, strategy na rin nila kumbaga, dagdag pag-uusapan sa social media. Yang hindi pagpapakita nitong si Lisa Araneta Marcos. Kasi marami hong issue tong administrasyon na to. Kaya habang mas maraming pinag-uusapan, maraming tinatanong, nalilis tayo dun sa totoong issue kagaya ng kulang-kulang na BICAM report, issue ng PhilHealth, talagang napakalupit na korupsyon, yung di umanong mga mangyayaring anomalya sa 2025 election. Mayroon na hong mga ganyang klaseng alingas-ngas na lumalabas ngayon. Di umano gusto ho nila tayong iligaw doon sa mga naturang issue, doon sa mga nabanggit natin. Kaya wag ho tayo magpa-distract. No? Yung pag-kidnap kay Tatay Digong, oo, masakit. Pero kahit siguro, kung pwede lang magbigay ng mensahe itong si dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte sa atin, mas pipiliin niya na mas tutukan natin yung mga issue na malapit sa bituka ng sambayan ng Pilipino. Oo, masakit sa atin yon dahil yung soberenya ng ating bansa ang ibinenta nitong mga bangag na to sa Malacanang, sa mga dayuhan. Masakit po sa atin yon. Pero base doon sa mensaheng ipinahatid dito sa dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte, dito kay Vice President Sara Duterte, ang dating ho sa atin noon, gusto ni Tatay Digong na yung mga naiwan niyang laban sa Pilipinas, kailangan maipagpatuloy. Kumbaga, huwag nating kalimutan, kumbaga tayong mga naiwang taga-suporta nitong si dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte, kalampagin natin ang pamahalaan kaugnay doon sa kulang-kulang na BICAM, yung kinuhang pondo sa PhilHealth, yung kanang korupsyon na nangyayari sa ating bansa, wag ho natin tigilan yung pagsuporta kay Tatay Digong. Wag ho natin tigilan yung pangangalampag dyan sa ginawang pagdukot kay Tatay Digong at dinala dyan sa Netherlands. Wag ho natin tigilan yun. Pero wag din ho natin kalimutan yung mga issue na kung saan bago kunin si Tatay Digong dito, talagang tinatayuan niya. Talagang pinaglalaban niya, ika nga. 8 years old. Yung mga bagay-bagay na dapat sana, kayo sa inyo na yan, problema nyo na yan, kayo mga kabataan, kayo na trumabaho niyan. Di ba ganun yung ibang mga politiko? Henerasyon nyo yan, ayusin nyo yan. Pero si Tatay Digong ho, hindi. Hindi ho yun ang nasa isip niya. Hanggat meron pa akong maibibigay na serbisyo sa mga Pilipino, tuloy-tuloy lang ako. Kaya marami hong bumibilib dyan sa mama na yan. Marami hong ano yan, kumbaga yung sinabi nitong si Attorney Salvador Panelo, kung sakaling may mangyaring masama kay Tatay Digong dyan sa Netherlands, baka biglang mangyari yung nangyari dito kay Cory Aquino. Sa atin naman, kahit hindi mangyari kay Tatay Digong yun, hindi ho nila mapipigilan, hindi ho nila mababago ang katotohanan na mahal ng sambay ng Pilipino ang mga Duterte. At ang mananalo sa 2025 ay 2028 presidential election, itong si Vice President Sara Duterte. Tuloy natin.
Tanungan ng taong bayan. Ang dami nga nagte-text, nagtatanong. Tapos, marami rin bagong impormasyon na sana maging pagkakataon para yung mga magulong sagot, yung hindi
Akala ko yung eleksyon para kahit paano magkaka-exposure ako. Ganon. Madam, maluwang pa ho kayo. Ang kaisipan, kayo naman. Huwag ko kayo mag-baby talk. Ang may karapatan lang mag-baby talk yung mga baby.
magkatugma-tugma ng mga datos at saka yung mga katanungan ng taong bayan. Sana pagkakataon yun para maisagot ng ating gobyerno.
Mali, pero kung ibinida mo dyan yung tatay mo, malamang sa malamang may mapapaniwala ka pa . O sabi siguro nito si Marcos Jr., ito naman si Amy Marcos. Pati ba naman yung pagkakaano kay Digong na ano ka? Hindi ko na papupuntahin dyan si Bonjing at saka yan si John Vic. Hindi ko na papupuntahin dyan sa hearing mo. Yan si Torre, di na sila natutustaho sila pagka pumupunta. Pero ano yan? Sa mga susunod na panahon, kailangan ho pa rin mapag-usapan yan pagka hindi na administrasyon. Yung mga trumabaho dyan, kahit wala na sila sa pwesto, kailangan pa rin silang ipatawag dyan in aid of legislation kasi yung kababuyang ginawa ho nila sa Pilipinas. Ngayon, meron kayong 3 taon para taguan, ilagan yung mga tanong o yung mga pagpapatawag na yan. Pero pagkatapos ng 3 taon, sa gusto nyo, maghaharap ulit tayo.
Yun nga ang inaantay ko. Sabi naman ni Presidente na hindi daw hihintuin. Pero liwa-liwanag ng sulat.
Ayun na nga, yan na. Bangag yung kapatid mo. Anak ng toko kahit ano pa sulat. Madam, tanggapin nyo na ho katotohanan na yung kapatid nyo bangag. Ngayon para sabihin nyo sa amin hindi. Para sa mga naghihintaan na banatan ko si Bongets, hindi mangyayari yun. Ginagago na ng kapatid mo ang buong Pilipinas, ganun pa sasabihin mo? Hindi parang pusang di mapatay. Nakatoko ka. Huwag kang mag-baby talk, madam. Di ka naman baby. Eto. Okay lang sana kung medyo nasa nasa 22 anyos, yung mga 25. Yan yung mga mag-baby talk yan. Okay lang yung tipong yung kay Ibana, yung mga ganyan, yan yung mga nagbe-baby talk. Pero kung kayo na kayo, kumbaga pagod na kayo, baka sabihin nito si Aim, di ba naman pagsasalita ako, PH, pinakikialaman mo. Lahat ho dapat sa pamilya nyo pakialaman. Ito, lipat ho tayo dito kay Ma'am Cathy Binag. Yan, kagaya nito si Ma'am Cathy B. Pagka yan nag-baby talk, okay lang. Walang problema dyan. Kahit mag-baby talk yan, umaga, tanghali, gabi, okay lang. Di ba? Pero si Senator Raimi, madam, pakinggan natin mga sasabihin nitong si Ate Kat. Ate Kat, banatan mo sila. Pakinggan natin to. Anong sasabihin nito si Ate Kat?
Natin yung yung naratibo ng iba dyan na pilit pinabaliktad kung ano yung nakasulat sa saligang batas.
Naku,
Diba?
yari kayo
Pag-usapan
dito,
natin
Kim.
yun.
Ate Kat.
At saka yung mga iba dyan na kung nagpapanggap na pro Duterte pero hindi talaga. Kasi
Yari.
nagkakos ng gumagawa ng pagkakalito. Tapos yung kapwa nila na pro Duterte, babanatan nila. Pag-usapan din natin yan. Kasi hindi nakakatuwa. Ako nagmamasid lang. Tsaka ang dami dyan na, alam mo yung daming
Mga pro Duterte, nagbabanatan. Naku, pangit ho yung ganyan. Kaya tayo nakikipag-away dito eh, di ba? Hindi tayo nakikipag-away. Ano tayo dito, in good terms tayo, lalo-lalo na dun sa mga tawag dito, yung mga talagang mga solid Duterte supporter. Ika nga. In good terms. Tsaka hindi tayo nakikipag-away. Mahirap na, baka merong Fortuner yan.
sinasabi.
Ay.
Pero
Pare, baka nakaitim na SUV. Hindi ba may init ang ulo ng mga nakaitim na SUV? Mahirap na, no? Ngayon pagka nakikita ko yung kunyari meron puting itim na SUV, naku medyo malayo pa lang, dumidistansya na ako. Naku, itim na SUV to, mahirap na. Naging judgmental eh, no? Ako, sige, pupunahan mo na yan, mahirap yun.
walang ginagawa. Diba?
Okay.
Hindi talaga tumutulong. Salamat. Roy B. Galfo. Galfo ba? Galfo. Ayan. Sasalimin tayo nang mabasa ko kayo. Ingat po kayo
Naku.
lagi. Roy B. Galfo.
Naku,
Yan.
nagsalamin pa nga.
Nasa car ako. Nasa parking. Madilim talaga. Okay lang yan. Importante na ririnig nyo ako. Kita naman ho ng
Yun.
tao. Kahit na ano pa ho. Tapos yung mainstream media, hindi rin ho nilalabas yung katotohanan. Di ba nga ho, sino yun? Si Fajardo ng PNP, sinabi niya sa isang interview na 60,000 lang ho ang nag-attend nationwide sa rally sa birthday celebration ng PRRD. That itself, yung proof na talaga sila, yung parang hindi nila talaga sinasabi yung katotohanan. So sana, ako naman, marami akong nakasama at nakilala din dyan sa PNP, sa Armed Forces of the Philippines, lalo ng pandemic, nagtutulungan ho kami para tumulong sa kapwa. Yung lang tayo, wag nating sirain ayan sila Fajardo, sila Torre, wag niyong sirain yung integridad ng PNP. Sana ho, doon ho tayo sa tama. Wag niyong mali-maliin yung mga totoong pangyayari sa paligid natin.
Yun.
And doon sa
Yun ang
iba
importante
dyan,
dun,
lalo sa iba nating politician, election is coming, 45 days to go, is magsalita na ho kayo. Yung sa totoo lang. Kung gusto nyong i-redeem yung sarili nyo, this is your chance to say something. Kung ano yung
Pero tayo naman ho dito sa PH Update, itong mga trapo na to, mas maigi na para masala na natin itong mga walang yan na to. Ngayon, kung meron talaga kayong tunay na pagmamahal sa bayan, magsalita kayo. Pero yung mga panggap lang ang gagawin, pagpapanggap lang, manahimik na lang kayo para talagang makita na namin kung sino yung mga totoo at kung sino yung mga peking mga nagmamahal dito sa bansa na to. No? Kasi pagka kayo nanahimik, alam na namin ibig sabihin nun. Pagka kinwestiyon nyo yung mga nangyayaring kababalaghan ngayon dito sa ating bansa at talagang nagsusumigaw ng mga ebidensya, makakaasa kayo. Nakita nyo ho ang pagsuporta ng sambayan ng Pilipino dito kay dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Hindi ho kayo bibitawan ng sambayanan.
katotohanan. Kasi ang Diyos ho gumagalaw na nakikita nyo naman yung mga pangyayari. So, dapat ho maging matalino ho kayo na, at kung alam mo, ang politiko kasi kung talagang mabuti ang inyong hangarin, hindi ho kayo papayag na maging puppet or sumakay lang sa agos ng tubig ika nga na kasi sasakyan nyo lang kung ano yung feeling nyo magbe-benefit kayo. Mali ho yun. Hindi ho magandang ganun ang ating pananaw bilang politiko. Dapat ho ang politician may paninindigan, may integridad, at may prinsipyo. But of course, number one is dapat may takot ho sa Diyos. Kasi ang may takot sa Diyos, mais ang family. Kasi kapag may takot ka talaga, yung totoo yung totoong sincere, yung sa heart mo, nakikita mo yung mali sa tama. Agad-agad. Makikita mo yung sa loobin nila. And yun nga, meron naman kasi tayong freedom of speech dito. Dapat hindi talaga natin, nasa batas din po yan, na dapat hindi pinipigilan ang pagsasalita. Kasi yun po yung frustration ng mamayang Pilipino. As long na hindi sila nagiging physical, that's okay lang po yun. Yung another thing also is, doon sa mga nagpapanggap na nagsusuporta kay PRRD pero binabanata ng kapwa niya, na kapwa supporters ni PRRD. 'Di ba? Pangit 'yun eh. Ang dami yung sinasabi, wala naman kayo dun sa battlefield, wala naman kayo dun sa kung saan nangyayari mga lugar, nandiyan lang kayo sa inyong mga computer, tapos ang dami yung ang dami yung sinasabi, 'di ba? So, yun, no? Before kayong mag-comment, dapat hindi kayo nagko-post ng ng mga ganyang, hindi kayo nagpo-post ng mga ganyan. Dapat ine-encourage nyo pa kasi sila yung nag-e-effort, 'di ba? Ako hindi ko na sinabi yung mga
pasalamatan ha. Especially yung mga mga talagang nakikita ho nating lumalabas sa karsada, talagang todo effort, no? Lahat ho ginagawa nila para makapag-ambag, hindi yung makapamuna lang. Ay, makapag-ambag sa pinaglalaban natin doon sa mga prinsipyo ni dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Pagsuporta dito kay Tatay Digong. Kaya pinapalakpakan ho natin yung mga yan, yung mga kasama natin talaga napakagigiting, no? At kung wala na rin matinong sasabihin, kung hindi ka rin naman nagpunta, di ka naman baka anino mo, hindi nakita dun sa lugar, mas maigi na wag ka na lang magkomento. No, kung meron ka nakikitang mali, wag ka na mag-ano. Kung meron ka mga yung tipong para may makalang kung tawagin, wag na lang. Ano ho yan? Kumbaga lumalabas lang yung mga tunay na kulay nyo. Lumalabas lang yung mga totoong taga-suporta, no?
Keyboard warriors sa online lang. Wala kayong pakinabang. Pero wag nyo lang bibirahin yung kapwa supporters ni PRRD na talaga namang nag-e-effort. 'Di ba?
Correct.
So stop the hate, 'di ba? Parang anong purpose mo? Ba't mo ginagawa 'yon? 'Yun yung akin. Bakit? Ano ba talaga? San ka ba talaga? Bakit ka nang iinsulto ng kapwa mo? Kung talagang supporter ka ni PRRD, ba't ka nang iinsulto ng kapwa supporter? Hindi mo kailangan gawin 'yon, 'di ba? Kasi pag ganyan yung mga hirit nyo, hindi ho talaga kayo okay. Hindi ho kayo supporter talaga ni PRRD. Rather, kayo talaga mga fake supporters or
fake
bayaran.
supporter.
Yun
Correct.
yung akin. So, pangit ho. Dapat hindi kayo ganon. Hindi kayo what do you call this? Hindi kayo nag-share ng mga negatibong comment sa kapwa nyo Duterte supporters. Kasi una, wala rin ho kayo dyan. Wala ho kayo kung nasaan sila, wala kayo. It's either wala kayo sa Pilipinas or wala kayo dun sa lugar. Kung nandun kayo sa lugar, sige, kumuda kayo. Pero kung wala naman, manahimik na lang kayo. Rather, pasalamatan.
Palakpakan ho natin itong si Ma'am Cathy Binag. Napakaganda ng punto de vista niya. Di ba? Ito, nakita naman ng mga kasama natin dito yan. Doon sa nagkaroon ng komusyon sa pagitan ng mga pulis sa Mendiola at doon sa mga nagse-celebrate sa birthday ni Tatay Digong diyan sa Mendiola. Hindi na ho natin ginawa ng reaction video kasi parang nababaduyan ho tayo. Di ba? Wala ka naman doon eh. Di ba? Pwede kung nandun ka, magsalita ka. Yung mga napuntahan nating rally kagaya nung sa Villamor, yun, yung sa noong ang tawag dito yung sa Liwasang Bonifacio, yun. Pwede ho tayo magsalita pagka nagpunta tayo. Pwede tayo magkomento sa mga ganap dun sa lugar na yon. Pwede ho natin gawa ng reaction video. Pero kung wala ho tayo sa lugar, baduy naman ho nun. Sasabihin mo, yan na, nagkakainitan na. Sugod, laban. Wag ganun.
Yun, na sila yung nag-participate in ang tawag dito, nag-participate sila doon, nandun sila, at saka yung buhay nila, dugot pawi, sarili nilang pera, pumupunta sila doon, hindi sila, bayaran. So, Ako ang sasabihin ko lang dun sa mga shut up. Shut up kayo
Saludo,
kasi
saludo.
wala kayo dun. Diba? Wala kayo dun. Hindi kayo.
Actually, dapat nandun tayo. Kachato natin si Ate Kat noong mga panahon na yun. No? Kaso, alam niya naman dahilan kung bakit di tayo nakapunta. Pero dapat talaga nakaplano tayong pumunta dun eh. No? Dapat talaga pupunta tayo. Kaso, ayun na nga. No? Hindi ko tayo nakapunta.
Wala kayo dun sa field. Wala kayo dun sa public na nakasalamuhan nila yung mga tao. Tumahimik kayo. Wala kayong right. Kasi kung talagang supporter kayo, again, hindi kayo dapat maninira ng kapwa nyo kasamahan na dumidepensa sa Duterte. But rather, you lift each other up. Diba?
Correct.
Hindi yung pagdududahan nyo. Meron dyan, marami talaga dyan na patapon na
Patapon.
para lang malaman yung mga plano. Ako, marami akong ganon na napapansin ko. So, iwas na lang. Kasi it's better to be alone, nobody can hurt you. Diba? So, tayo, patuloy po
Correct.
tayo magdasal at maging matalino kung sino yung ating iboboto ngayong eleksyon. Again, dapat ho, yung mga hindi nagsasalita tungkol sa naging problema ng Kaban ng Bayan, PhilHealth, Maharlika Funds, and all, wag yun na hong iboto.
Yung mga nananahimik, dapat habang buhay ng manahimik at huwag nang magsalita kailan pa man. Ito mga kababayan, rekta ho tayo dito sa exclusive interview ho ito. Matindi ho ito mga kababayan. Itong interview nitong si Attorney Karen Jimeno dito kay Spoke Sari, no? Ito, paulit-ulit po natin sinasabi. Yang si Marie, yang ibang mga reporter dyan, araw-araw nila nakakasalamuya yang si Spokes, pero hindi ho nila nakuha yung panig niya. Abogado nasa kampo ni Tatay Digong. Sino pa bang mas may nakakaalam kung ano mga nangyayari sa kampo ni PRRD? Kaso importante nga doon sa mga mainstream media na yon, kung ano yung naratibo, yon. Diba? Yung kukunin yung mga taga-suporta ni Tatay Digong na nakikipag-usap sa mga pulis, pagdating ng balita sa Pilipinas, ayun na, pinapaalis na mga Duterte supporter. Tinataboy na sila ng mga pulis, nakikipagtalo sila sa ganyan ho sila. Ang sasalbahe ho ng mga mainstream media na yan. Pero itong Billionaire News Channel, medyo ox ho ito ng konti, no. Kumbaga, SMNI, tapos yung kahit papaano hindi bias, nandiyan yung mga mainstream na kahit papaano pwede natin panoorin yung mga balita nila. Ito, panggan natin.
There was a
Supposedly an
diffusion
ICC
order.
Yes, okay.
There's a
So this is
diffusion
what that
order.
you're familiar with this.
Yes.
What is the difference between a diffusion order or diffusion notice and a red notice from the Interpol?
The diffusion notice came from the Philippines, requesting the international community for assistance to apprehend the former president. But how do you issue a diffusion notice to yourself? Because that's issued only by the Philippines.
Yeah.
And the difference with the red alert notice is the red alert notice is issued by the Interpol itself upon request of the ICC, and which means that it had to go through the General Secretariat, which should have taken steps to vet the legality of the warrant of arrest. And of course, it's important to vet the legality of the warrant of arrest because the service of the warrant is dictated by local law, no? Not by international law.
So under the Rome Statute, if the ICC warrant of arrest was being served, the requirement would have been to send someone to a competent judicial authority.
Well, in fact, that's a separate provision of the Rome Statute. I'm talking first about how the cooperation of a state party is triggered. It is, of course, by a formal request made, and I understand there was no formal request made yet, and with the assistance of Interpol, because Interpol will be the one to coordinate with the local police force. No? But there was no such request.
So how do you know that there was no request or notice? Because from our understanding, or even from my understanding when I was listening to the government's explanation, they were just merely cooperating with the Interpol. But it did come out during the Senate hearing that was led by Senator Amy Marcos that there was no red notice, there was only a diffusion notice. So how does that reconcile with what you're saying, that there was never a request from the ICC?
Because if the ICC requested for the arrest, they would have asked Interpol for assistance. Okay? But Interpol never really intervened. What they had issued was a diffusion notice, which is a request from the Philippine government, not vetted by the Interpol, just a friendly request.
So it
Comply
came
or not
from the
comply.
Philippines?
It came from the Philippines and executed and enforced by the Philippines. It was like requesting oneself, no? Which is really ridiculous.
How do you know this, that the request came from the Philippines?
Because we've seen a copy of the diffusion notice.
Naku, yari ho tayo dyan. Itong mga detalye na to, hindi ho palaga. Ang request pala mula sa Interpol na dyan sa diffusion notice, galing pa mismo sa Pilipinas. Anak ng tokong garapata. Di ba? Ibang klase ho mga kababayan. Request galing sa Pilipinas, pinadala sa Interpol, inimplement sa Pilipinas. Anak ng tokwa. Pambihira. Para maikutan lamang yung pagkakawalang jurisdiction ng ICC dito, ipapadaan sa sa ICC.
This, no? And of course, this came out also in the Senate hearing, no? So in a sense, the Senate hearing is very crucial to prove facts which I knew even before the hearing was conducted, because someone who was from within the Philippine office charged with cooperating with Interpol had already sent me a copy of the diffusion notice.
So you had a copy?
I
of
had
the
a copy,
diffusion
but
notice.
unfortunately I did not have to explain where it came from because it came out already in the Senate. Now, also under the Rome Statute, surrender to the court must comply with the requirement that it has to go through a process of extradition, which must be filed before a local court. And of course, in the Philippines, our procedure for extradition is dictated by an existing presidential decree, which has not yet been repealed or amended by Congress. And therefore, my expectation was he will still be brought first to a regional trial court. And I've said this over and over again in my columns and in my vlogs. No? So the manner by which he was arrested was completely a shock to me, because I thought that even an administration with an balanced mind would comply with the very reason that the ICC exists.
Ito ho kasi yung nasa utak nila. Yaang naratibo na yan, yaang galaw talaga na ibigay sa mga dayuhan itong si Tatay Digong. Hindi naman ho talaga sa mga Marcos yan. No, ganito ang nangyari, di ba Uniteam? Nagkaroon ng alyansa sa dalawang partido, sa dalawang pamilya, Marcos at Duterte. Nanalo sila na sabay. Nung nanalo na, dahil alam nila na malakas si BP, bibitawan niya si BP. Ngayon maghahanap ng alyansa itong Marcos na kung saan pwede nilang makasama para wasakin ng mga Duterte. Parang after nila, sila na lang dalawa magpukpukan. Kumbaga, ano na lang tayo, tayo maglaban dito. Ika nga, Dilawan at saka Marcos. Alam naman ho nila, alam naman nila pagka wala na yung mga Duterte, itong mga Marcos na to, kaya rin nilang trabahuin itong mga Dilawan. Yung galaw na padala sa Netherlands si Tatay Digong, hindi naman ho talaga galing sa Marcos yan. Galing ho sa mga Dilawan yan. Ang nangyari, pinagbigyan ng mga bangag itong mga Dilawan at trinaydor naman ho itong mga Duterte. Yun ho ang pinakamalaking pagkakamali nitong si Marcos Jr. Sa kanyang pagiging presidente. Yung iniwan niya ang mga Duterte. Di ba? Yun ho ang pinakamalaki. Mula noong doon sa punto na binanatan na, kumbaga, tahasan na talagang binira ng administrasyon ni Marcos Jr. itong si VP Sara. Yun na ho, doon na nag-umpisa ang pagbagsak ng kanyang administration. Mantakin mo, ang nagpanalo sa'yo, ang tumulong sa'yo, ang nagtiwala sa'yo, iniwan mo, doon sa mga kalaban ng nagarang administrasyon na kung saan isinuka talaga ng sambayan ng Pilipino. Doon ka pa talaga nakipag-alyansa sa mga Dilawan. Isipin nyo na lang ho mga kababayan kung paano mag-isip, kung anong klaseng diskarte sa politika ang ginagawa ng kampo nitong si Marcos Jr. Hanap ka na lang ng kapalit ng mga Duterte, pinili mo pa talaga yung mga dinurog ni Tatay Digong, yung pinakita ni Tatay Digong kung ano yung, kung bakit hindi na dapat maibalik itong mga Dilawan na to. Diba? Yang sila Leni Robredo, yan sila Bam Aquino, yan sila Kiko Pangilinan. Ngayon medyo nakakagin na naman ho sila ng momentum sa politika. Kasi nga ho, hindi na ho na-emphasize yung mga pagiging incompetent nila sa kanilang pagiging public servant. Napag-uusapan yung kay Tatay Digong, kay VP Sara, pero dadating ang oras na lahat ng yan ilalatag ulit natin sa sambayan ng Pilipino. Kung hindi pa ho ngayon ang panahon, maghintay lang ho tayo. Ika nga there will be a day for reckoning, ika nga nitong si dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Ang pinakamalaking pagkakamali ng administrasyon na to, noong nag-umpisa silang pinulitika nila itong si VP Sara. Pagkatapos noon, wala na. Tapos na ho, ika nga. Tapos na political career nila the moment na binanatan nila itong mga Duterte na to. Sila nagpanalo sa inyo. Sila ang nagpalibing sa tatay nyo dyan sa libingan ng mga bayani. Tapos sila po babanatan nyo. Mga bangag nga ho talaga.
Which is the Rome Statute, no? And that's why, as I said, we were already ready with the petition a year before it actually happened to restrain cooperation, no? Because we thought we would have the time to question it, since they would still have to bring it to the local court. And in fact, under existing rules, as you know, in the rules of court, the issue of jurisdiction should be brought out in the extradition court itself, no? And then later on to the Supreme Court in case you do not agree with the judgment of the extradition court. But of course, the very process contained in the Rome Statute was not followed. And of course, it's a big lie that there's only a duty to cooperate with Interpol, because there's none. Even if there was a red notice alert, it's not an international warrant of arrest. And of course, compliance with it would still depend with the local laws. And the local law says we cannot send him to the requesting court unless and until he faces an extradition court.
Okay. I seem to have remember that I think it was the Secretary of Justice which said that there
Correct.
are two options, extradition or voluntary cooperation. He seems to be making a distinction there. But
No.
legally, the only option is extradition.
Yes, because what he meant by voluntary cooperation is voluntary surrender of the accused.
Yes.
But why is there a provision in the Rome Statute which requires an extradition process? It is to obviate the criticism arising from the decision of the Israeli Supreme Court on Eichmann. Eichmann, of course, 25 years after Second World War, was a high-ranking official of the Nazi government. He was found living under an assumed identity in Argentina, and the Mossad simply sent agents, drugged him, put him in a private plane, and brought him to Israel to stand trial. Drugged him.
Oh my God.
Okay? And of course, Argentina complained that their sovereignty was violated because foreign agents operated in their soil, and the defense raised the issue of illegality of the arrest, and they wanted the Israeli courts to divest itself of jurisdiction, which is legally termed decoupling of jurisdiction. And Israeli Supreme Court said, I'm sorry, it's main pa. Malay namin, pakialam namin paano nakuha yan. What's important is it's given a fair and impartial trial. Now, to obviate the fact that obtaining the person of the accused through an illegal means is no longer sanctioned under modern human rights standards, that's the reason why they want and require all states cooperating with the court to first bring the accused before a local court to make sure that his rights are protected. And of course, one of the rights that he has is to question the jurisdiction of the court requesting his extradition. In the same way that you could oppose a request for extradition if you're going to be subjected to the death penalty or to torture, because there's also prohibition against extradition to places, particularly where you are liable for torture. But the president was deprived of such right.
So, given that there were, as you said, deprivation of some rights, including rights that were supposed to be granted under the Rome Statute, do you think there's strength to the case of former President Duterte in terms of questioning all of this, even at the confirmation hearing?
Well, if I had my way, I would even wait for confirmation of hearing.
There's a way
because,
to question this
yes,
before,
because
September?
Jurisdiction can be raised at any time. If there's a way, and if I were already part of the legal team, I would have done it differently, But, let Kaufman deal with that, But I wouldn't have followed this route, And what's important to reiterate now is that a confirmation hearing primarily is for the court to be satisfied that there's not just reasonable evidence required for the issuance of the warrant of arrest, but that there's now probable cause to continue to trial. So you could raise jurisdiction there, but there's no prohibition in raising the issue of jurisdiction even before confirmation, because obviously it's 6 months from now. No? So I think while the odds are stacked against the president, because there are 3 precedents in the ICC where the court said the manner by which jurisdiction was acquired over the person of the accused does not matter. And this is also the view of the lone Filipino judge who served at the ICC.
Yes, I interviewed Judge Raul Pangalangan.
I saw that interview, and he
Yes.
says the manner by which jurisdiction over the person will not really matter, no? I don't agree with that. Because just because it has been the practice not to scrutinize the legality of the manner by which acquisition over the person of the accused was acquired does not make it right. You are a court that is promoting international justice. And how do you promote international justice when you do not resort to lawful means in acquiring jurisdiction in the first place over the person of the accused? To me, it's a contradiction in terms.
Okay, so there might still be some remedy in the ICC.
Well, I would hope so, but if we go by the decisions of the ICC right now, 3 times in at least 3 cases, Bamba and 2 other cases, they made an issue over the fact that there was no compliance with resort to the local courts first, and the court just went ahead and tried the case on the merit.
Okay. What about resorting to Philippine courts? Is there any hope there?
Well,
the petition for certiorari, prohibition, it's now pending in the Supreme Court.
Well, I'm a bit hesitant to answer because I'm counsel for Pulong. And I filed a petition for habeas corpus coupled with certiorari.
So you're the counsel for Pulong,
Congressman Pulong
for
in the
Congressman
Supreme
Paulo
Court.
Duterte in
Yes.
the Supreme Court. So among those
The
petitions
3.
that are filed, you're one of the counsels.
In fact, we're the only ones that filed habeas corpus and certiorari. Why? Well, we had the certiorari prepared as of December of 2023. But of course, there were blanks because we did not know when the warrant of arrest could
So
be
you
issued.
were that prepared
We were that
ahead.
prepared, okay?
But you didn't have time to file this because former President Duterte was held in the in the Villamor Air Base for a couple of hours before he was
we didn't
taken to
have
the plane.
enough to rewrite the petition
portions.
to include habeas corpus. I've always maintained that we cannot just file a habeas corpus petition because the only issue is legality of the arrest, and all they're going to say is that here is an ICC arrest warrant. Even if we're saying because we're no longer a member of the court, then that arrest warrant does not matter anymore, no? And what will prevail will be the 1987 Constitution. No? But the issue of cooperation needed to be questioned through certiorari, because it's grave abuse of discretion in the first place to cooperate where there is no more duty to cooperate. So of the pending petitions, we're the only ones that combined the habeas corpus with certiorari. And we were delayed because we did not expect that he would be apprehended and immediately brought to Villamor.
And
In
that there was
fact,
a private plane waiting.
we were
for charges.
already ready by the time he was put on that private plane, except that the Supreme Court was already closed because the filing of the Supreme Court was at 4:30. Remember, he arrived roughly around 11.
Yes.
And then
they flew him out, I think, early evening.
And also we had a problem with where is he so he could sign his verification and affidavit of non-forum
that was
shopping.
another
No?
challenge.
That was another challenge. No, our messenger could not even enter Villamor because Vice President Sara Duterte could not also enter the premises. No, and so the rest is history.
Do you think that this was also anticipated by the government, that you already had a prepared petition and that you
Yes.
guys were ready to
I'm sure
question
of
it in court?
That's why they did not waste time in putting him in a private jet and bringing him as soon as possible to The Hague, because they wanted to avoid judicial review. Now, fortunately, because ours is coupled with certiorari, it does not mean that just because the person on whose behalf the petition is filed is beyond Philippine jurisdiction, that the court cannot rule on the legality of what happened. That's really the office of a certiorari. No?
So you believe, as a lawyer, that there's still some remedy left in the Supreme Court of the Philippines?
Well, they haven't dismissed my certiorari when they could easily dismiss all the habeas corpus. And the reason why the habeas corpus petitions have not been dismissed is they were consolidated in one case. Now, that ruling will be very important because according to the Rome Statute itself, the legality on the issue of how the arrest warrant was served will be determined by local law. And the decision of the Supreme Court Philippine Supreme Court, although not binding on the ICC, would of course have a lot of weight because in the first place, it is the Philippine justices who know what Philippine law is all about.
Would that indicate that the judicial system in the Philippines is working, which would then trigger the application of the complementarity doctrine?
I think we need to find a way when there are very urgent cases, there should at least be one magistrate that can issue immediately a TRO. Now, in our system, the Chief Justice has the power to issue a TRO on his own.
On
His own, by himself, which is a TRO good for 72 hours.
Okay.
I just do not know what happened. I just do not know if he even knew that there was already one certiorari petition filed. The Supreme Court no longer accepts petitions by 4:30. It was filed by 4:27, the one filed by Attorney Del Grano, which is a petition from the President himself and Senator Bato. No? So it was filed 4:27 and the closing is at 4:30. There was an opportunity for the Chief Justice to issue a TRO.
But you don't know what happened.
I don't know what happened, and I don't know if there was enough time, because remember, it was filed 4:27, and they took off around, I think, shortly after, if I'm not mistaken. No? So there probably really was no time, because unless, you know, a soft copy was sent to the Chief Justice, and he could dictate over the phone the issuance of a 72-hour TRO.
But legally, a lot of people ask me this as a lawyer. Even now, I'm at The Hague. When I would go to the detention center, I would have people there asking me, Attorney, may pag-asa pa bang maibalik si PRRD? Palagay mo, pwede pa bang iuwi si Tatay Digong? Kaya ba ng Supreme Court natin? So, legally, can they reverse that?
The Supreme Court cannot order the ICC.
But can they order the government and then ask the government?
No, they cannot, of course. But they can order the government. Of course, the habeas corpus, I think, has become moot, but not the certiorari. Okay? Because